Welcome to part 2. Okay, we already now have a background on this secession for the coast. We have a background, we have the historical background as well, so it's much clearer now. Now let's get into the politics. And let's start with the organization that calls itself the Mombasa Republican Council, MRC. Okay, it has been in existence at the coast for quite a while, and they have been, their whole objective is for the coast to succeed. Yeah, they're the ones who came up with the phrase Pwani sio Kenya. Yeah, and so Kenyans got very confused when the MRC came out with a statement recently saying that the plan, the Kingi, Joho and the other opposition legislators' plan for secession is ill-advised. Yeah, it could lead to violence, blah blah blah. They opposed to it. Yeah, many Kenyans were very surprised. How can the MRC come out with a statement that looks very much like a government statement? Well, the answer in one sentence is that the MRC is government. Now you need to know that intelligence organizations all over the world are normally form this kind of groups, separatist groups, yeah, violent groups, yeah. And the whole objective is to fit into whatever plan they have, yeah, currently in the country they're operating in. For instance, I had information very early that one of the reasons why the MRC, yeah, seemed to be revived, rejuvenated, it was very strong around 2008, was because its objective was to cut down and limit the opposition influence in Mombasa. Or let me put it even more bluntly, the whole objective was to limit Raila Odinga influence in Mombasa. Now, after the 2013 general elections, the very mysterious elections, I published an ebook called Mystery Monday, yeah, Unraveling the Secrets Behind the 2013 polls. Now, in that book, I write in great detail the objectives of the intelligence community after the 2007-2008 troubles. Now, it's just common sense. After we saw what happened in 2007-2008, where the most damage was done by the Kalenjin community, yeah, because this community normally has military training, it's in its culture, yeah, as children are brought up, etc., etc. It's a very long story, I don't want to go into it here. But after we saw what happened, the objective was very simple, to make sure that it does not happen again. Now, one of the ways to make sure it does not happen again was to ensure that the Kalenjin community would never, ever be in the opposition. And so it was necessary to cause a divorce between ODM leader Raila Odinga and his Kalenjin allies. Yeah, we all know this was achieved very successfully. Yeah, and that fallout was not an accident. It was planned. It was preconceived. It was a very clever ploy by the intelligence community. Okay. Now, the second objective at that time was to ensure that the influence of one Raila Odinga is also limited at the coast, yeah, because the coast was another area of potential trouble for the government of Mwai Kibaki at that time. Not only because of the injustices committed on coast people over the years, but because some prominent people in the Kibaki government, including the President Mwai Kibaki himself, owned businesses and large tracts of land in the coast, at the coast. Okay. Now, the term owned is can be contested because of the way that property was acquired at the coast. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. And so the MRC was used. The whole reason behind using MRC is that coast people would now just start talking about their problems. And the rhetoric would be they do not need any outsider, i.e. Raila Odinga, to come in and help them fight for their rights, yeah? That they were capable of fighting for their own rights, yes? And more importantly, striking a deal with the government of the day directly, yeah? Without a go-between in the form of the opposition leader Raila Odinga. So in case you didn't know, the MRC is fully controlled by the government, okay? That one you need to know so that you don't get confused. And so, naturally, they would be opposed to this latest, very well planned, very well orchestrated bid for the coast to secede from Kenya. Now, because of some of the reasons I've mentioned, it is very predictable. It's very easy to predict how the government of Kenya will react, yeah, to the coastal people wanting to secede from Kenya. And if I can spell it out for you, they will use all means possible, all tactics available, every trick in the book to ensure that that this push by Mombasa, or rather coast legislators, opposition legislators, to secede will not succeed. They will try everything, they will do everything, they will do anything to make sure it does not work. And that is why Kilifi Governor Amerson Kingi knew what he was saying when he said that they are aware that there are a lot of obstacles on the way. They are aware that they're going to face formidable challenges in their bid to secede from the country called Kenya. And so the next question would be, will the government win? Or will Mombasa, or rather will the coast, succeed in seceding? Obviously it's going to be quite a battle. Because on one side, what the coast legislators have going for them is that they'll be using legal means, and legal means both locally and abroad. Yeah, international law and local law. Yeah, secession is in the Kenyan constitution, the 2010 Kenyan constitution. It allows for secession. Yeah, and secession is also in international law. Those are the two big weapons that the secessionists have going for them. Okay, and the truth is, the government will have a very hard time countering this. Yeah, the government will have a very hard time stopping this. It will really stretch the government, that is for sure, whatever happens. The truth is, most Kenyans, myself included, yeah, will be very quick to apply for citizenships in the new Republic of the Coast. Yeah, immediately it has any signs of success, oh, a large part of the country will jump into that ship. And this is the major weapon the coast legislators have, yeah, because they have the full backing of the NASA High Command. Indeed, I believe this is part of the plan, very well orchestrated, very well thought out plan by NASA to resist, yeah, the current very illegal, illegitimate, harsh, draconian government. Now you'll remember in an earlier recording I said that the advisors that Honorable Raila Odinga has, yeah, the think tank that is being used by NASA, is like no other seen in these shores in the history of the country called Kenya. Yeah, it is like none other. Yeah, I mean, those guys are on top of their game. They have experience, they know the soft underbelly of the government, they know which weak points to attack, they know exactly what kind of reaction to expect, etc., etc. Yeah, in my view, the biggest challenge, or the biggest obstacle to Jubilee retaining their stronghold, their illegal stronghold over Kenyans, is that think tank. And of course you can have the best think tank, but then the circumstances and the environment are not conducive. But then the advantage this think tank has is that they're operating on momentum. You know what momentum am I talking about? The momentum of a vast majority of the people of Kenya who are just fed up. It's as simple as that. They're fed up of lies, they're fed up of fraud, they're fed up especially of electoral fraud. And Jubilee has made the matters worse, yeah, by trying to push numbers down our throats, yeah, 7 million, based on nothing, actually based on empty polling stations. I mean, this thing is so obvious, yeah. You have polling stations crowded with long lines, and then you produce 8 million votes, yeah. Then 2 months later, you have empty polling stations, yeah. Empty polling stations. Some polling stations, no voting took place. Some polling stations, 2, 3, 4, 5 people voted, yeah. And then you have the audacity to come and tell us you got 7 million plus votes. Hey, you kwenda ambia ndege. So what I'm saying, the government has just added insult to insult, yeah. Or let me put it even better, yeah. The government has just rubbed salt in wounds, raw wounds, yeah. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a raw wound on your skin, then somebody puts salt on it. Hey, the pain, yeah, it just aggravates the pain, it accelerates the pain, etc., etc. Yeah, so this is what has happened to Kenyans. So those Kenyans who are fed up before 26th of October are now fed up. There's no English word. They're fed up a million times. They're fed up 100-fold, yeah, than they were before the 26th of October. And in favor of the secessionists, the rest of the world has seen in black and white in daytime exactly what Kenya's electoral system is all about. They've seen the fraud, yeah, because international cameras were in these empty polling stations. Yes, they were there. Some international organizations like the CNN even did their own sampling and came up with their own estimate of voter turnout. Yeah, theirs was 28%. I mean, as I said in an earlier recording, he cooked up figures of 26th. It will not be possible to fool people. Yeah, August 8th was possible to fool people. Yeah, because nobody had access to the polling stations. Nobody knew what was going on inside there. Yeah, and therefore it is possible actually to tell people the election was free and fair. It is possible to tell people that actually Jubilee had 8 million votes, because it's very difficult to counter, what they were saying. But 26th October, polling stations open, camera pictures, pictures all over the world showing empty polling stations, yeah? And then you come and you tell us you had 7 million plus, yeah? And one does not even need to be a statistician, yeah, or an expert in sampling statistics and giving you a number, yeah. You don't have to be an expert on that. The whole thing was pretty obvious. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, that is the situation as we speak now. Yeah, it's quite an explosive situation. Indeed, it's the most dangerous situation the nation called Kenya has ever faced. Yeah, but that's what we have. Now, in the next episode, I will tell you why economic boycott is much more effective than all the guns and bombs that Kenya has at the moment. Yeah, it is very effective. Of course, many people have had doubts, many NASA supporters have had doubts whether this economic boycott thing will work. But I think with the information I'm going to give in the next episode, you're going to change your mind. Yeah, so see you there in a little bit. As usual, you know the drill. Click on the link on your top left hand corner. As soon as that video is ready, you'll be able to go straight to it. This is Chris Kumekucha.